Well, hello and welcome back to the Essential Education YouTube live stream. We're so happy that you have joined us today. My name's Jen. I'm the Student Success Coach here at Essential Education, and we often visit this channel to give you tips, to give you tools, and yes, to give you that extra boost of confidence and encouragement when it comes to taking on your goals and dreams in life. We work with a large variety of students of all ages from coast to coast and around the world. And we help them at whatever stage they are in their educational journey. Now, many of our students come to us having not completed high school in that traditional sense. Maybe they left school at a given point for one reason or the other. They didn't finish in that K-12 environment for a number of different reasons. And we help them to know that their goals and dreams are never out of reach, that it's never too late to continue your education. And we help those students prepare for, study, get their high school equivalency credential by taking either the GED, HiSET, or TASC. And a typical follow-up question that we get, a common question, an important question is, okay, well, after I get this credential, can I take that credential to college? Can I use my GED or my HiSET or my TASC credential and go on to that next level and study at a collegiate university or school? And the answer to that question is a resounding yes, absolutely. The truth of the matter is, once you get that high school equivalency credential in hand, doors will open. Your possibilities truly are endless. And today we're going to be talking about 9 important things that you need to know if you are considering continuing your education after you get that GED, HiSET, or TASC credential in hand. Are you ready? Here we go. The first one is somewhat a no-brainer, but it's honestly one of the hardest things to overcome if you haven't yet been able to say this to yourself. And that is, know that you can do this. Know that it is possible to go to college with a high school equivalency credential. In fact, 96% of all colleges and universities accept that credential in the exact same way that they would that traditional diploma. And the remaining 4 to 5%, they still accept it. They just may have some additional questions or some additional steps for you to go through in order to gain admission. And we'll talk about some of those steps here today. I often hear students say, I just thought that it wasn't a possibility for me to go to college. I didn't know it was a possibility for me to go and continue with career or vocational training because I thought I missed the boat. I thought that my time had passed. And often the phrase that I use to encourage students with when they make those comments, when they feel that way, when they make those statements, is this: there's no such thing as the right time. There's just time and what you choose to do with it. See, people like to tell us that there's a right time. There's that traditional time. If you joined us for any of our coaching sessions, you know I kind of pushed back at that a little bit, that whole idea of what a traditional student is, because who's to say what's traditional? And no one can tell you about your life. Nobody can tell you what your normal is. So no one can tell you what your limitations are. There is no right time. There's just time and what you choose to do with it. And the truth is, after you pass the GED, the HiSET, or the TASC, you have all the rights and privileges of a high school graduate because you've shown that you understand the material, that you can think through logically and critically in major subject areas and come out on the other side with proof that you did it, proof of that credential in hand. So the first thing that you need to know is to know that you can do it, to know that those doors will open and your possibilities really are endless. The second thing you need to know is know your options. And I always tell students to start local. Start at your local community college. Even if you have aspirations to go away to school or go to a 4-year university, or there's somewhere you've always wanted to go that's outside of your given area, still start with a local community college, at least in asking questions, because this is an important step in research that will help you kind of fill in some of those blanks. And here's what I mean by that. Do you have a program already in mind that you'd like to study? a community college advisor can help you figure out what classes you need to take to fulfill the requirements for that program. They can help you map out how many steps are along the way. For instance, do you need to get an associate's degree, a 2-year degree? Do you need to get a 4-year degree? Are there little certificates along the way that you can get that will give you a bump up in your education all along your career journey? Start to ask those questions. Start to figure out what your options are, and local community colleges are always a great place to start. Even if you don't end up attending there, they can be a wealth of information in just figuring out what your path might include. They'll give you a better idea of the steps. And community colleges are also a great place for those folks that say, well, I don't really know an area that I'd like to study. I know I want to continue my education. I know I want to find some financial and career stability, but I'm not really sure what that means for me. Community college is a great place, a lower cost place, to explore those options for yourself. So know that you can do it and know that you have options. Consider starting local. Also, know your pit stops along the way. Here's what I mean by that, and we just touched on this briefly. For instance, is the career field that you're interested in, are there certificate programs that you can attend and obtain that will give you a bump in employment and salary options while continuing to go to school? Can you continue to go to school and get a 2-year degree that'll give you another bump up and will allow you the financial stability and the greater resources to continue your education and maybe get a 4-year degree? See, a lot of people think it's an all or nothing type thing. Either I don't have a college education or I have a 4 or 6-year degree. But the truth is there's lots of little pit stops along the way. There's lots of little middle skill jobs that you can obtain that are very valuable. What do I mean by middle skill jobs? Middle skill jobs are the jobs that require some advanced degree, but not necessarily a 4-year degree, not necessarily a bachelor's or a master's degree. These are those certificates and associate programs that may be out there available to you that you just don't know about. And the truth is, in the next 5 years, 2.5 million middle skill jobs will hit the job market, and we don't have anybody to fill them. So why not you? If in the next 5 years you know that's going to be a dire need, then go ahead. You've got that credential in hand, jump in, get that extra certificate, get that extra 2-year degree, and put yourself in a prime position to take hold of one of those many middle skill jobs. And don't stop. Just because you get that 2-year degree doesn't mean that you can't continue on for that 4-year degree or even that graduate degree. There's lots of little steps along the way. And knowing you can do it, starting local with knowing your options and knowing that there's lots of pit stops along the way will help arm you with the information you need to know to continue your journey. Also, know who and what types of questions to ask of, or what types of questions to ask. See, a lot of students think, well, I heard about so-and-so and they went to college and they just couldn't cut it. It was too hard. Research shows that many students that leave a college environment don't leave because it's too difficult. They don't leave because it's something outside of their understanding. They leave because they didn't necessarily understand the process. They had a lot of questions and they didn't know who to ask those questions of. They sometimes didn't even know what questions to ask to make them successful. So one thing I want to take away from you right now is any kind of negativity that you might feel about asking questions. When it comes to exploring your college options, questions are your currency. Questions are the way that you get from point A to point B. Never be afraid to ask a question. If you don't understand how a degree program works, ask. If you don't understand what the admissions requirements are, ask. If you don't understand the financial aid process, ask. If you don't understand your deadlines and what happens if you don't hit those deadlines, ask. Take this fear away from asking questions. See, as toddlers, 4-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, we ask thousands of questions a day, but somewhere along the way, we stop asking questions, probably because we want to feel like we know things, right? But there's nothing wrong with asking those questions, and those questions are what is going to arm you with the information and the knowledge that you need to confidently take those next steps. So when it comes to a college experience, don't forget to ask questions. Start asking them from the beginning and then never stop. Who do you ask those questions of? Well, your advisors. Get to know your advisors, and there could be lots of them along the way. You're going to start with what's called an admissions advisor, an admissions director, or an admissions representative. Admissions is just a fancy word for the gatekeepers of the school. They're the people that decide whether or not you have all of your materials and you have everything you need to become a student at that college or university. Ask them questions, get to know them, let them get to know you, and they really, really can be a huge part of your experience in helping you, again, get armed with that confidence of knowing you're taking these steps in the right direction. The second person you need to get to know is your enrollment advisor. Your enrollment advisor is kind of that changeover from admissions. Okay, now you're in the school, you've made that connection with admissions, and now we want to talk to you about what you need to do to get enrolled. What classes do you need to take? What are you interested in? Do you have a path of study that you want to follow? If so, these are the classes you need to take, when and where. Are you not really sure what you want to do? An enrollment advisor can also say, okay, well, let's get some general education requirements out of the way, meaning classes you have to take no matter what you study. They can talk to you about your background. They can talk to you about the skills that you already possess and the skills maybe that you need to shore up a little bit there at that college, in that college experience. Speaking of that college experience, the other people that you need to get to know are your teachers, are your professors. They are there to help you. They want to come alongside you in this journey. Don't fall behind because you didn't ask the questions. Don't fall behind because you didn't understand a process or a deadline. Ask the questions, send the email, pick up the phone, go to office hours, get to know these people. After all, your tuition dollars are paying for it. So why not take advantage of your full experience and use the people, not just the classes and the materials and the experiences that you'll have there at the college level, but get to know the people, because they really can be a driving force in you getting that next experience in hand, that certificate, that 2-year degree, that 4-year degree. They can be the glue that holds all of that together. Also, when preparing for applications, get to know your score. And I'm speaking specifically to your score on the GED, the HiSET, or the TASC. A lot of times we talk in terms of that minimum level score that you need to have to pass the exams, whether that be that 145 out of 200 for the GED, the 8 out of 20 for the HiSET, or the 500 out of 800 for the TASC. But did you know that those same tests also have honors level scoring? Yeah, they do. For instance, for the GED, if you can score 165 or higher, you're considered honors level. On the HiSET, if you score a 15 out of 20 or higher, that's considered honors level. And for the TASC, if you score a 600 or higher out of 800, then that's considered honors level. What does an honors level scoring do for you? Well, it tells those admissions and enrollment advisors that you have what it takes to take on college level material. Now, if you don't necessarily score at that honors level, does that mean you're out of luck? No, it just may mean, again, that they have some extra questions or an extra process for you to work through for admissions and enrollment. But if you can work hard and continue to prepare and know that college is in your future, then consider continuing your preparation for these exams until you're continuously reaching that honors level, because it will show those college admissions and enrollment advisors that you are prepared and ready to take on college level material. Because that is a concern that admissions and enrollment advisors will have. See, they want you to be confident. They want you to be successful because they know that confident, successful students continue to enroll semester after semester. And so many colleges and universities will give students what are referred to as entrance exams. And these entrance exams usually exist in 3 areas. They exist in English or reading, writing, and math. These are the 3 areas that enrollment professionals, admissions professionals want to make sure that you really have the skills to be successful at the college level. Now, you could show them through that honors level scoring on your GED, HiSET, or TASC, or they may ask you to take, again, what's referred to as an entrance exam. And that exam will then show them whether or not you're ready to move on to that college level reading, writing, or math class, or whether you have to take some extra classes. And you want to avoid those extra classes at all costs, because cost is the primary word. When you have to take extra classes that don't apply to that certificate or that 2 or 4 year degree, then it's costing you extra time and it's costing you extra money, and you want to avoid that if you can. So this next big no is know that we can help you with that. Just like we have services to prepare you to take on the GED, the HiSET, or the TASC to get your high school equivalency credential, we also have entrance exam preparation services through our College Essentials program, where we have surveyed all kinds of entrance exams all over the world, all over the country, looking at what colleges and universities are looking for in those entrance exams. And we've put together practice exams for you. We've put together lessons that look very similar to our high school equivalency prep lessons to get you ready to take on those entrance exams and show that you are college ready. We also have another great product and program within our array of offerings called Dreamcatcher. And Dreamcatcher specifically, well, it's really for everyone. There's something to glean for everybody, but it really specifically hones in on maybe those folks that just aren't really sure what you want to do. You haven't really thought about what your purpose is or what you feel like your call might be. And we can help you think through some of these things. It's kind of like writing your own personal mission statement. And Dreamcatcher is a wonderful program to help you do that, maybe for the first time. I know at 45 years old, I know that I've had a long time calling to be in education, but I took the Dreamcatcher class just a couple of years ago, and I still had things that I'd never really thought through before. So it is a valuable offering, and it comes as a part of all of our student enrollment packages. So check that out if you haven't already. And then the last thing we want you to know is to know that you actually have an advantage as this quote unquote non-traditional student. I know a lot of students they have an extra weight on them if they didn't finish high school in that traditional sense. They feel like maybe they're behind in some way. They feel like they, again, missed an opportunity or they missed the boat, and they feel like they're at a disadvantage. But you know what? Studies and research, the smarty pants that study all of this educational data about students and how they perform in schools, they actually say the opposite. They say that non-traditional students are actually happier than traditional students. Why? Because when they enter that college experience, they know how valuable it is. They've seen how hard it can be without having an increased education. And so once they get to that environment, they're thankful for it. They're happy for it. They work hard. They know that they're spending their hard-earned dollars to continue their education, and they're doing so with purpose, and they know that there's value in that. And here's another big thing. 45% of those students that complete their GED, HiSET, or TASC this year, 45%, so almost half, will enroll in college, will enroll, be accepted in college within the first 3 years. And here's an even bigger statistic. Of those folks that enroll, 90% of them continue year after year, meaning that they're not dropping out. They're not getting there that first year saying, oh, I can't do it. They're pushing through. They're being persistent. They know that this is worth it, and they persist year after year, semester after semester. So own your story. It may not have the look or the feel to it that you thought it would. Maybe you left school at 10th grade for whatever reason. Maybe you almost finished, you left your senior year for whatever reason. The game's not over for you. It's still just beginning. There is no right time. There's just time and what you choose to do with it. And again, the truth is, once you get that high school equivalency credential in hand, doors will open. Doors will open for increased job opportunities, and doors will open for increased college, university, career, and vocational training opportunities. You can do this, and we know that we can help you at whatever stage of your journey that you are on. We'll put some information there in our Essential Education bio there on YouTube to let you know that you can get in touch with our student success team at any time. We're here to help you talk through your options and let you know what we can do to support you in your next steps of writing your fantastic story. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.